So it's early May in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm taking a lot of my overwintered trees and plants outdoors and figure out what I'm going to do with them over the summer. So this here is a 1-year-old avocado, seed grown, Persea americana. And what I did, I grew it in water in the typical way, planted in bonsai soil, because this is, I think, a very challenging tree to keep alive for a long period of time, or bonsai, for a couple of reasons. One I found is that the tree is very resilient to stress while it has its cotyledons attached here. This storage tissue gives it a lot of ability to respond to stress. But when these are removed, it tends to die suddenly. In this case, I've managed to keep this one attached. This one has also been attached, but it looks like it's exhausted this tissue and has just let it dry up and be discarded. We do have a bit of bark growing up in the lower area, but what happened in the first year is that it grew up to about this height, and this is when it went inside for the winter. So all of this is winter growth, where it had to grow under a shelf and it was growing towards the light. One of the other problems with this one is that with this species is that it's very fast growing because it has this huge hypogeal cotyledons here, and it's storing a lot of energy, and it tends to be it's very fast growing as a young tree, and it has a strongly apical growth where it's growing from this one in tip. But I do have this smaller branch out here, so we have had some branching, and I think that what this tree would do in general is this branch would eventually die off, and it would expect to just grow straight up, and when it reaches tree height, it would begin to develop branches at this point. I'm very nervous about doing too much work on this tree. I'm very nervous about doing anything with the roots. I don't think this tree is old enough for that by any means, and any messing with the roots at this stage is probably just going to kill the tree. However, the size is an issue, right? So it's about 9 inches high. It's moving outside of bonsai size, and we're going to have to figure out some way to do size control on this. I probably should have done this, so we're going to do a big cut here. I probably should have done this a couple weeks ago because it's really leafing out, kind of putting a lot of energy in this, in the growing tip here, and I would expect it would have some kind of explosive growth over the summer. But what I think I'm going to do here is we've got a lot of buds down here too. So I'm going to develop this branch as the main leader of the tree, and hopefully that's going to help us get some taper in the trunk, just a severe prune on a regular basis. And then we'll get a big taper going into that. If I cut above one of these buds, hopefully it'll branch out after that, and we'll be able to get some sort of tree-like shape in something that is a bonsai size. So, okay, here we go. I'm going to go above that bud right there, and just big cut.